new to you.
No.
So you were my very first guest on the podcast. I think that is 5 years back, and we are back again for a new conversation. So,
Thank you.
so the audience who is watching this live or on a replay, I'm Ranjini Sanjay, and we have Shija with us today, and she's been there with me in my journey of transformation. I have stopped counting the years now, maybe a decade now, I would say, easily. But today she's here as a career coach who is passionate about helping women get back to their careers, in a strong way. And she has her personal story of transformation. So we'll get to know more about her in the meantime. So Shija, go ahead and introduce yourself. The audience can get related with you.
Hello, everybody. Good morning in my part of the world. Um, my name is Sija Devasi, as Ranjini mentioned. I am HR consultant, author, a coach, a mom, a housemaker for some time. Now I'm a professional. I live in the U.S., Dallas, Texas. Originally from India, was raised in Bombay. Uh, to all the Bombaykers, hi. And I speak a bunch of languages. I'm originally Malayali from Kerala. My parents and grandparents are from there. And I had this dream to come to the US for higher education, and that brought me here. I've never stopped studying in my life, I can say. I've always been somebody who wants to learn some things, was curious, was adventurous, and was a big dreamer. I should say, is a big dreamer, and I'm still here. Um in that journey, I met Ranjuni, and we had a same program together. We completed that, and which was a coaching program, and it was amazing. And I've seen her grow stronger and stronger every time. And I tagged team with her. That's what happened, and that's something small about me.
Okay, great. Shija, I remember meeting you for the global games, no accountability we had, and since the time I've known you, I know you as someone who's so passionate about empowering people. I know it's not about the money you make; it's about the difference you make for the people, and that keeps you driving. And we traveled, no, a long distance in that accountability, and later became a coach, like where we were seeing it as a professional, adventure so far.
So far, yes.
Yeah. So, and there are many times where you have come back in your career, and we'll talk about it. But in general, like if I have to start no this conversation, I want to know, like when it comes to you know uh, getting the skills that you need when it comes to that restart. So over the years, like different times, like you moved to US, that was one break you had, and then maybe motherhood, and then maybe coaching. Before coaching, you were doing something. So there are different breaks, like over so many years. But what skills that you gained, like every break, how it has helped you get to the next level. So if you can tell us about that.
Sure. Uh, Very good question, Ranjani. I've had many breaks in my life, and I lived the life that I wanted. Uh, I was never about making money, but I was always about making a difference. But I couldn't articulate it when I was in my growing up years, but that was what my innate personality is and will be till I die. I moved to the US. Yes, I said before, I was a dreamer. I had a six-figure yearly pay in India about 25 years ago. So and it was an amazing space to be for a woman of my career, my caliber, but I think I was too way ahead of my times. Um, Maybe India was not ready for me. That's what I should say. And I wanted to dream. I had a dream, but the biggest factor was of that all that was my parents' support, without which I would not be here. Uh, you need to have that environment which really gives you that uh, push. It pulled me for my greatness, in short. That's what I can say, which brought me to the shores, to a country where I didn't know anybody. I got a full scholarship for my master's program, and then went on to went on to start off with the PhD program. I'm all but dissertation. I have the experience, the training, if you may, to what it takes to be a person who can write theses. I've written papers, published papers, which are for HR professionals, and that's my area of field, and which I loved and I'm passionate about. As you know, it comes natural. My break was amazing. I enjoyed it because I was studying and I was in a place where I loved what I did. Uh, I was gaining experiences, knowledge, uh, credentials, credibility along the way. But it never occurred to me that that's what I was doing, because I was doing something which I love doing. And it just fell in place automatically. Um, I had to unlearn the British English and learn the American English, which many of my professors pointed out in my paper and said, and we didn't have AI or Google or kind of translation kind of things. We had to go to the library, get our stuff, and that those were the times that I was studying and getting my education in a way. And today it's a very completely different world. We have everything on our fingertips. I envy my teenager because he has everything, and I'm like, oh my god, I wish I was at that age where, I could have done many things, and differently, if you may. But it's always a change, right? It always you see the difference. What the world moves, nobody waits for anybody. Yes, I have many breaks. Then came motherhood. uh,
Yeah.
I completely gave up my program or my work overnight, if you may, and became a stay-at-home mom for the first 5 6 years of my kids' life. During that time, I did not sit quietly. Of course, I have to do something or the other. I'm very much not somebody who'll sit and do nothing. Uh, I became a Boy Scout mom. I started as a Cub Scout. I led the second largest Boy Scout pack in the North Dallas region. And the BSA, that is the Boy Scouts of America, called me and asked me and interviewed me and said, "What are you doing different? Because we want to know that how we increase our um, volunteers or increase our membership, because your troop is really doing so well and we want to know what you're doing." And I was like, okay, here's what I did, and this is something normal I do, right? And of course, I was organized and showed them this is what I did and what I didn't know, so others could replicate what I was doing. And those are some of the skills which I developed with my volunteer work. Of course, BSA was not a paid job, but I could get with my being a BSA leader. I was close to what my son's activities is, and work with the kids, their parents, the community, pretty much contributing to that. Uh, then in that process, I also started my journey of getting upskilling myself, like without even my realizing that this is what I'm doing, because I wanted to do something and I just did it. I joined the team management leadership program with Landmark, and pretty much it really shifted my life. I started a nonprofit as well, doing with it, being a mom, yes, like Boy Scout mom. I work with I have a nonprofit. I co-founded it. Uh, Now I run it by myself and a team of people, uh, which is about art and artwork for kids in the area and across the world. So I keep myself busy with that. Uh, so you have different breaks. Then I said, okay, my kid is going to school. He's done with all his activities. Now it's my time to restart my career. And when I started, and I was lit, of course, in a jittery waters, I didn't know where to start, what to do. I had to look around and unlearn and learn many things, of course, along the way. I found a job. I was like, yes, it was accounting job. It was not an HR job, but since my bachelor's is in accounting and economics, it helped me. Uh, and I created a project for them and moved on. What I did there was I got out of the job. I mean, they didn't need me anymore. That's what I did with the first 2 years of that job. Kind of a project. Like I created a project and said, I can do the systems and make sure that this works. And, by the time I completed with that, I got out of the job. So I had to go and look at some other stuff. Long story short, lot of breaks, but along the way, I picked up many skills,
Hmm.
knowing or unknowingly. But I use those examples to really articulate it and share it with my interviewers. My ultimate job was to have an HR position. And living in the United States, people are a little bit cautious about hiring people of color
Hmm.
for a HR position. Technical jobs are fine, comes along well for people of color, I must say, because they need people in that area. But for marketing, HR, they don't need people like me because there's a lot of people here. Uh, it is that kind of unwritten bias which exists. I think it exists in every country, every place you live. I have seen it in India. I see it also in the US. I mean, people are the same all over the world. Only the language changes. That's what I tell them. Uh, and in my journey, I learned that very early on as a woman. And of course, I had a home. Um, I had to take care of my child, my family. I have a husband, a son. Um, of course, no pets. Thank God for that. But it's work, like especially if you live in a different country and you do not have family who live in the near in around to support you. Back home it's very different. uh, at, at least when I was growing up, people had joint families, and I
Yeah.
grew up in a nuclear family, but I know the value of family now because raising a kid in a different country is very challenging, and I'm
Yes.
raising a boy. And I always tell him, and I promise myself that I will raise a strong boy, a strong man, so that women, whoever he comes across, are not somebody who is a kind of, wherein they are taken for granted or they are not respected. And I tell my son that, and that is a very strong policy in my house. I see him in different stages. As a teenager, yes, they have conversations which are sometimes
Yeah.
derogatory for women. And I stop that and I tell him, look here, you cannot talk about any girl like that, or you cannot talk about any boy like that, because that is not what you are. And that um, is my responsibility. I take it very personally and very seriously, if you may, uh, because I know tomorrow, if my son marries somebody, that girl is going to be also an independent person who
Yeah.
has her own mind, who has her own profession or career, and has her own family. How are you going to work with that if you find somebody who has done things or maybe do things better than you? I don't know. You
Hmm.
know, never know. um, I'm all about women empowerment, though I'm in the minority in my home. I love to say that, but uh, I think that is so much missing in our conversations with our children, especially the boys. They are expected to behave and do certain things, as they are, especially in Asian families. And that is very much a cultural thing. And it even exists in other nationalities, trust me. But what I know about And it's like the conversation that we carry on with ourselves, what we have seen with our parents and what we have seen with our growing up, and it comes automatically, right? Because as a default thing, and you don't even realize it. But I know for sure these kind of breaks made me think differently, act differently, and maybe that was what the results came out very different. So that was what I um, yeah, motherhood is a serious job. It's the most important job in this universe. It's the least paid job. But if you think about it, if I lay the foundations quite strong, it doesn't move. That's what happened with me. My parents do do realize they have done that. uh, Today I thank them, or I more than thank them, and I owe it to them. That's why I'm here. I get that. um, I can only hope my child says that about me. uh, but there's
Yeah.
no way that you can force things to happen. But it is always there as a parent that we uh, uh, bring in that empowerment for women. I've seen in many families as well, especially the dads, um, very complacent, dads of boys and girls. And it saddens me when they don't support women, or the own women in their house. They think that everybody, or maybe they do it, but outside women are like, oh, so what, you can do that. I don't care. But what is the message that you're sending your daughter or to your wife? you know which is a conversation, which is something which, I know I'm digressing from the question that you asked me, but which comes along the way as a mom. Like, you have to manage those conversations and make sure that people are given their place and respect. Whether you're a woman or a man, it doesn't matter. And motherhood taught me a lot more than what uh, corporate or professional life would. And it got me ready to whatever skills I have, and I can share with my employers. And they are really appreciated, because if you can share with them and give them a story that this is what you have done, that is something which everybody would love to hear, right? If there is always a good ending to any story, everybody likes that. Like, it remains with people. And that is something which we we women who want to restart a career can take on.
Yeah. So, what my listening here is like, what you shared is like, on in the process of taking so many breaks, and like we tend to take a lot of breaks as women, especially when it comes to managing multiple things in our lives. So, learning, keeping your learning momentum on, and maybe consciously and unconsciously, like it's not
Yeah.
about taking a degree, it's not about taking a formal education, it's about taking those life experiences. Even motherhood teaches a lot. So, and when it comes to really looking at yourself, when you're looking at the next break in life or next career that you are aspiring for, look at how you can articulate it in a way that it inspires others. It doesn't feel the people who are listening to you like you were doing nothing. You were just on a break. And we often, I think, somewhere we often tell ourselves, like, I'm on a break, I'm not doing anything. But we are doing so much. Even
Yes.
like being a stay-at-home mom, we are doing so many things. So acknowledging all of that, and really seeing what transformation you got, and creating a story around, can help you motivate yourself. Like, it's not just a break, or you're not doing it, nothing. You're still learning, and you're a different person, and it can contribute to the next role that you're taking on. So thank you so much for, though you took a long time to answer this, but you have shared a lot of things. When it comes to, we just ignore these small things that we do, and how big the impact can be when you bring it to the table. So moving on, I want to know, like, since you are into career coaching and helping women, get back into career, what is the general, though you have turned it around for yourself many times, a different situation, but in general, when you meet people, what is the common block that they have, mental block, when it around the career breaks they have?
Well, the biggest one I can say is, am I really able to do this? Like, why am I here?
Hmm.
I'm not good enough. I already am a housewife doing nothing.
Hmm.
Then all those self talk, if you may, as a coach, that's a term that we use. You talk to yourself and say, this is it. And you confine yourself to that. It's a mind game, basically. Like you are telling, I'm not worthy enough. I'm not good enough to do this. The day I'm telling you, I was also in a space like that.
Hmm.
And I was thinking, this is a big job I have. Excuse me. I am fine. But I didn't want to, what was really there was happening was I didn't want to move out of my comfort zone. I was fine. You know, I was not the breadwinner. My husband provided for us, house, family, everything. What more did I need? So
Yeah.
when you fall in that category, I realized that, oh my God, look at me. I got to sit and think about for me. And I'm looking at myself in the mirror and I'm saying, here am I'm doing all this hurdles. I've done so much so far, got here uh, by myself, right? And now I'm sitting at home and doing nothing. And when that hit me, I really was there. Okay, here I am talking about I'm not good enough. I cannot do this, I cannot do that. And when I shifted that mindset of mine, uh, I could do many things, right? As I shared before, I had a family, I was a Boy Scout mom, I run a nonprofit. I also at one time had a job, a full-time job, doing all this. And for a person who was at one time thinking, I'm not good enough, I
Hmm.
don't want to do it, I cannot do it. Why should I do it? Now, when I gave up all that, I
Hmm.
could I could create wonders. I worked for multinationals, many of them, did projects for them, completed their projects, and I'm like, you know what? What's next? What's next? It just comes naturally, and
Hmm.
I never ever thought that all this would happen. But the day I gave up my self talk, my
Hmm.
life changed, and it didn't take much money for me, right? I didn't earn anything. I was not a mm, person who had my own income. Uh, but
Yeah.
at the same time, I realized if I have one, if I have it, it's nice, right?
Yeah.
So you see the difference, right?
Hmm.
So it's that mindset which I gave up, and it was not easy. Trust me, it took me some time, like to literally realize that okay, I can do this, and let's move on. And when I caught that train, I never looked back.
Great. I think, yes, all of this is a self talk. Self talk is the deciding factor for many blocks in your way.
Absolutely.
So, if someone who's listening to you right now and maybe looking at reinventing themselves, what would be the first step? Like, we know where to work on, but what would be that first step that you can advise them to get started? Actionable.
Action, yeah. Just to recognize what is your self talk
Hmm.
could be the first step, right? When I recognize that I'm thinking that I'm okay being a housewife or doing volunteer work, not monetizing my efforts, or I'm not making money for myself. Like there was a time my husband used to say, "This is like an expensive hobby, what you have," and I just looked at him. I'm like, "Yeah, right." So, which was very clearly, he's screaming that you're not making any money. What's wrong with you, right? You're so educated. It's a national waste. You're sitting at home. Like what are you doing? Nothing. Not that like sitting at home is a national waste, but I'm not doing anything. literally constructive or contributing to anybody around me and not monetizing stuff is a national waste for sure,
Yeah.
and which made sense to me. And the I remember my one of my aunts saying the same thing to me. You've studied so much. You get married and you're like, what are you doing? What are you doing here? I said, yeah, Sija. Then she told me, Sija, you've studied so much. You've done this, that. It's a national waste if you don't make use of this. I'm like, wow. When I heard that the first time, I was younger, inexperienced. I thought like, oh man, she's joking. Forget it. I don't care. Why should I care about national waste? Like, but now I realize that when you are a contributing member to any society, you live and work and you call home, any part of the world, be it India, be it US, be it any other country. In my case, it was that. I got it. Like when I am a contributing member to any community that I live and work and call it a home, there is a responsibility that I carry for myself. There are people who look at me to say, okay, here's this person. She's doing this, this, this. This is what it is. And it comes automatically. Not that I'm going to look for it, but I am doing something good,
Yeah.
right? People want you. People want to talk to you. People want to connect with you. People want to hear what you're saying. People want to emulate you, give them an example, uh, want to take your systems, or want to take your methodology, whatever you call it. Like there is a way that she operates, where there's a way that I can work and be uh, the the largest Boy Scout pack in the area. I have no idea about what it was. But working with families, working with people, I got to know, I got to get out of my comfort zone. And I did not, if I had not done that, of course, there was intention was to be with my kid, of course, but at the same time, I was contributing to maybe 60 or 80 of them, you know. To, at one point, I remember my second grader, when my son was in the second standard or second grade, he had this tantrum. He's like, I don't want to go to the meeting today. Bah, 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 bah. He started. So I just looked at him and I said, okay, honey, here's what it is I have for you. You can do whatever you want. I'm fine. Stay at home because there are other kids waiting for me there. I have to go. And I left. Before I closed the car door, he was in the back seat. He
Hmm.
just followed me. He realized that his mother is not only for him. Now
Hmm.
kids learn, and that is the impact that we can share or we can see. That's the impact that I have seen, and I'm sure there are bigger other impacts which I
Yeah.
have not seen and what has happened, but there is an impact. And that day I was like, whoa, this kid is he's already back at the back seat. He's fine. He has not looked back since then. Today he's in the ninth grade.
Hmm.
He's still a Boy Scout. He still knows what he's doing. He still gets it. He still knows that his mother is a global leader. I travel with my job. I tell him, look here, you are my priority. I get it. But guess what? I have a career too. So
Hmm.
he's like, Mom, are you going to come back? I'm like, of course I'm going to come back. And 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 that's my promise to him. But how am I going to live my life? How am I going to take those conversations and make sure that my child knows that I am or he is the most important thing for me. It is, and it will be all the time. And I tell him, look here, if you call me and there's something there for you, I will be there. Wherever I am in the world, I will be there. So there was an incident where the time when I had to travel, I had to do things. He got sick and I stayed back. And I had to change my schedule and everything because that's the promise I made him. And
Hmm.
I told, look here, here's what your mother can do. Like if I had not got out of my comfort zone and not looked at what it would the impact would be. Today my kid knows that my mother can travel, my mother can do things, and she is fine. I'm fine.
Yeah.
Now that's the message I think we should give our kids, if especially women who are in the workforce. So far I have never had any babysitter or anything for my child. My child doesn't know what daycare is because I was his daycare. And in a way, I'm happy that I did that because I don't get to see that anymore. He's no longer doesn't need me that much. But there are uh, people who would have their kids in daycare or have a nanny for them and make sure they're taken care of, and while they are at their work or their career moves on, which is perfectly fine too. But I did not have the luxury to do that. But yet I could make something beautiful out of it. I mean, I would not be like, uh, I think it's all in the mindset. If I had to sulk, if I had to be upset, oh, I don't have a nanny, I don't have this, I don't have that, I would never be where I am today. And there comes your mindset. There comes that your self talk. What do you tell yourself? And that it all matters. It completely changes the course of your destination, where what your self talk is. So yeah,
Wonderful, wonderful.
my suggestion would be to give up that and introspect for yourself what
Yeah.
you have to do. Write down, like, make a diary, like a write take a journal and say, here's what I did, this is what I did. Now how can I share that to somebody? Here's what I did. I took care of my parents or my in-laws or my extended family. I took care of us. I took a break to raise my child. In my case, it was that. In people have different circumstances, different situations. How? But we still manage. We still have our things. We do still manage. We still do financial things. We still know where to do things. What we do, manage the logistics. Now, if organizations, most organizations have a logistic department, and if it's run by a woman, I would really commend that, because I think women can do much better job in logistics, because we are always multitaskers. We knew this will happen, this, it goes on and on. Our productivity is always, like, it will never it will show up in our work. And that's exactly what we do in our house. So when I'm taking a break, I'm also getting learning what is logistics, what is managing people, what is managing my community, what is managing my uh, how do I work around uh, my time. Of course, that's the biggest thing, my time management. All that is what you can share. And it's not a waste of things that you do, right? It's not like you're not doing anything. Now when you change that, things change.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing. Though, no, it's many people are stuck in their own stories as we talk for the last 20-30 minutes. Like, no, so it's just about changing that narrative and writing a story that empowers you, inspires your children, your family, and community around. So, Shija, if someone wants to reach out to you, learn how you did all of this and how you have been helping communities around you and empowering, being an empowering women and being an inspiration for others, how can they connect and learn from you?
Uh, you mean contact me? Is that what you're asking?
Yes.
Yeah, I have a LinkedIn profile. You can look me up on LinkedIn uh, and connect with me. I also can share my phone number or my WhatsApp number. I can be reached by WhatsApp, LinkedIn, Facebook, whatever works. Facebook is, like my son says, "Mom, you're on Facebook. You're old." I'm like, yeah, right. I'm not getting young either. I mean, I'm young, but the Facebook concept is for a certain kind of generation. And
Yeah.
if you are looking at TikTok or Snapchat or something like that, it is a very different generation that we work with. So yeah, you can
All
connect with me on Instagram. I am on Instagram as well. Yep.
right. Great, great. So
Did I
thank you
miss
so much.
anything?
Yeah, thank you so much, Shija, for sharing. Yes, you are available on LinkedIn, and if the people are watching this on YouTube, you can, search her in LinkedIn and you can message her, DM her, and she'll be available to connect. So What is the final message for people who are listening this conversation till the end? I can see there are people still watching this conversation.
Oh, really?
Thank you
Okay.
so much for staying till the end and give your final message. And we are good to close this conversation today.
Well, my final message will be like, you are the best. You're a woman, whoever it is. Exactly. I mean, there's nothing in the world that anything can stop you. Like all the mythology, all the stories, all everything, especially if you are from India, that part of the world. You know the power of a woman. We all know it. But how many of you really are aware of it and say, here's who I am and here's what I can do? Those who are, they have a different course of life. Those who aren't, for whatever reasons, uh, nothing right or wrong, but anything is possible.
Yeah. Thank you so much for this message, Shija. It's very powerful to say, like, no, congratulations. Good, you're a woman. Acknowledge that the power you are. No?
And you can do many things, like, right?
Yes.
So it is a conversation that we tell ourselves, and sometimes somebody else tells it for us. Trust me, people, if you do not tell yourself, people
Hmm.
around will make it happen for you. What do you want?
Yeah,
What do you want? Tell yourself that you did it, or you created it, or somebody else created you. It doesn't work if somebody else says it, because they will have their own agenda. Now you have to tell yourself what you are and work with that.
wonderful. Thank you, dear. Thank you so much. And I
Thank you,
look forward
Ranjini,
to
for
many
the
more
space.
conversations. And I'll see you soon. Take care.
Yep.
Good night.
Thank you. Thanks for this conversation. Have